Hey everyone, this is Toothy. Later today we'll be having our first look at the 5.7.0 PTB, which contains one particular change that has been very controversial, which is Circle of Healing nerf. The reason why I want to talk about this nerf is to talk about the Survivor meta as a whole, and a problem that I feel like isn't getting enough attention along with how the two are related. If you play this game for long enough, you'll probably be super familiar with the fact that a number of the popular Survivor perks in this game, such as Decisive Strike, Unbreakable, Borrowed Time, Circle of Healing, and Dead Hard are the center of a lot of killer complaints. Circle of Healing is the latest of a series of perks made to alter the game in a powerful way, with the others being Boil Over and Lucky Break. For the sake of this video, I'll also be talking about Dead Hard and Old Object of Obsession. Each of these perks dominate in a particular category, with Circle of Healing for healing, Boil Over for wiggling, Lucky Break for stealth, Dead Hard for chases, and Object of Obsession for information. All of these perks were added to the game to add potential meta choices for survivors. However, with the exception of Dead Hard, each of these perks were nerfed or reworked due to being frequently complained about. So with so many survivor perks needing to be nerfed, or having been nerfed, what would you even be able to give survivors that wouldn't be problematic? With killers, this typically isn't as large of a problem, as killers have gained new status effects such as the Broken, Undetectable, Oblivious, and Incapacitated effects. These new effects, for instance, have been used for a number of perks, add-ons, and even baseline killer changes as well. So, if you look back to Demogorgon's release, the Demogorgon introduced two new status effects, which was the Undetectable and the Oblivious effects. When it turns out that people ended up liking those effects, in his mid-chapter, those effects were expanded upon to killers like Freddy, who gained the Oblivious effect, and killers like Ghostface, Myers, Wraith, and there was like one other killer that gained the Undetectable effect, but I can't really think of them right now. But that's besides the point. A number of killers ended up gaining new status effects, which basically made them a fair bit stronger. And on top of that, not only have killer perks, killer powers have been changed, there's also been killer perks that have been changed or updated, like Dark Devotion, Beast of Prey, Tinkerer, things like that. And there have even been add-ons that have been designed around these new effects, and typically the Undetectable effect is not really something that gets complained about a whole lot. Or if we look at the Incapacitated effect, Eruption applies it. There's a couple of add-ons that do this, like Weighted Head on Huntress, and it's also a baseline effect for the twins. Technically, you could make an argument that Madness at Tier 3 is also kind of the Incapacitated effect, with a way to get rid of it. But let's get to the point, though. Survivors, on the other hand, have not received any baseline changes, such as status effects, or mechanics that you can design perks around. Where killers have been given status effects, entity blockers, and regression, survivors have not been given any new beneficial status effects ever since the release of Bill, with the endurance effect, around 5 years ago or so. Which to me, this is a huge problem, because the only perks that get popular become popular as a means to counteract what tools killers have, as opposed to opening up new plays. Whereas killer perks are built around frequently introduced status effects and mechanics. So, if you look at perks like Deadlock or Corrupt Intervention, they're built around the entity blocker effect. Or even like, No Way Out. That's another perk that does that. Or Blood Favor. You have all these perks that apply this new effect that killers have been given. Or like, in the case of the Undetectable effect that I was bringing up earlier, there's also been a lot of perks that have been built around that. Whereas, with the Survivor perks, most of the ones that are popular simply counter what a killer can do. For instance, Circle of Healing neuters the hit-and-run playstyle, or, you have Dead Hard that neuters M1 killer's ability to down you, basically nerfing the mind games that some killers can do until you've used it. Things like that, pretty much. So to me, it makes sense that a number of Survivor perks receive complaints, rather than them being designed to open up new plays. They're just simply designed to counter what a killer can do. Which is also why perks like Bamboozle and Spirit Fury are also disliked by survivors for that same exact reason, as nobody wants to feel outperked. So to me, this highlights a problem because this game has been out since 2016, and during all that time, there has only been one beneficial effect that's been given to survivors, which is not even like, baseline effect or anything like that. Which, I'll admit, I can honestly see why, because when I was thinking about this problem, I kind of realized how difficult it is to actually make a new effect that wouldn't be broken, or a new effect that would actually be useful, because with killers, there's typically a reason why you're introducing a new effect. Be it a new power, or maybe there's a new perk you want to make, things like that. Whereas survivors, they don't really have anything fancy like, new powers, or even a need for a whole lot of status effects, but I feel as if for as long as behavior doesn't introduce new status effects, or any new mechanics for survivors, this is going to continue to be an issue where whatever new tools survivors are given are going to end up being complained about that isn't like, like a weak effect or anything like that. Which, I do feel bad because with the killer side of things, killers gain a lot of new things, and those new perks and whatnot don't really get as many complaints. Whereas survivors, anytime they get anything new, it ends up getting nerfed right away. And I feel like, a good way to address this is to give them more status effects and more mechanics. I don't really have a solution for this though, but I do feel as if this is something that I would love to see be visited sometime soon within the upcoming updates. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any ideas on what behavior can do to introduce new status effects, mechanics, or even like, new items, let me know in the comments as I am interested to hear them. And again, if you like the content, feel free to check out my Discord, my Twitter, or my Twitch, which are all in the description below. And I'll have a new video come up regarding the mid-chapter and all the changes with that with my finalized opinions once I've finally had the chance to test them all out.